Okay, this is going to be part 2 of the Advanced Math, Chapter 3 review, okay? Directions say, for 11 and 12, determine whether each pair of functions are inverses of each other by composition. So what they want you to do is they want you to do f of g of x and g of f of x. Now you have to know how to trigger that yourself. They'll tell you composition, but that's what they have to trigger. Now, what you're trying to get here is you're trying both of these to equal x for you to say yes, okay? And you got to show your work on this. So on this one, I'm going to lead with this function. I'm going to put a set of parentheses there. I'm going to fill in x over 2 minus 5, and I'm going to distribute. That is 1/2. 2 times 1/2 would be 1x. 2 times negative 5 would be negative 10. Plus 5, that's 1x, all right, minus 5, okay? So that did not give me an answer of x. So this is, I already know this answer is going to be no, but let's go ahead and finish this out. All right, so what I was going to have here is I was going to lead with this one, which is 2x plus 5. All right, I'm going to divide both parts by 2, all right, and then I'm going to subtract by 5. So that's going to be 1x plus 5 over 2 minus 5. That's going to be 1x, basically negative 2.5. So this is no good, all right? This did not give me an answer of x, okay? If I move down to this one, all right, once again, same concept. F of g of x, f of g of x, all right? I would lead with this, all right? I would put that inside, that's x squared minus 3, okay? That's going to combine, so I got the square root of x squared. Square root of x squared will be x. That's good, okay? All right, negative 3 plus 3 would be 0. Square root of that would be itself, okay? All right, because basically those cancel out. All right, this one's going to be, when I do g of f of x, all right, g of f of x, all right, I'm going to lead with this. I'm putting in this square root, and what happens is the square root and squared cancel each other out, so I'm left with that, and if you notice, I get x again. So both x's, so this answer is yes. Okay? All right? Moving down, it says find the inverse of each function and list the domain and range of the inverse. Okay? So what I'm going to do, f of x is a fancy symbol for y, but I'm going to switch x and y. Okay? I'm going to add 1, okay, because my goal is to get y by itself, okay, and divide it by 6. Okay? So what my answer there is going to be is y equals 6x plus 1/6. You can also have this as an answer, x plus 1 all divided by 6 equals y. Either way is correct. Now, you got to ask yourself, what shape is this? Okay, that's a line. All right, well, if I put a point on that line, and I look at the domain and range, I look to the right, I see it. I look to the left, I see it. So my domain is going to be all real numbers. My range, I look above, I see it. I look below, I see it. My range is going to be all real numbers. Okay? Pretty simple there. All right? Number 14. X equals 8y plus 3 over 5. Now this time I'd multiply by 5 on both sides. I get 5x equals 8y plus 3. I would subtract 3. I cannot combine those again. That's going to be 5x minus 3 equals 8y. And once again, I can divide each of these by 8. So that's going to be 5 over 8x minus 3 over 8 equals y. Okay, so that's 5/8 x minus 3/8 equals y. Now, what shape is that? Once again, another line. So you're just looking for the generic shapes here, okay? And what this is going to be is just like the last one. All real numbers, okay? All right, we made a change on this problem in class. We turned this into x to the 4th minus 3. So I'm going to have y to the 4th minus 3. I'm going to add 3, okay? All right, that's going to be x plus 3 equals y to the 4th. To undo the 4th, I take the 4th root, okay? The 4th root is very similar to the square root, okay? So it's going to be one of these deals, okay? And I can test that. Now, when I go into the calculator to graph that, I'm sorry, that shouldn't say 3, that should say 4, okay? All right, to graph that, when I go into the calculator, all right, and I go to menu, and I go to graph, okay? All right, I'm going to delete this, all right? To do the 4th, what you have to do is hit the number 4 first, okay? 4 first, this little thing right here to the x power, okay, what that does is it sets it as the 4th root, and I put in x plus 3, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and I'm going to draw. As you notice, very similar to the square root, okay? All right, g solve, root, okay? I got negative 3, 0, okay? Very similar. If I look to the right, I see it, no left, okay? So let me fill in these answers here. This is going to be the 4th root of x plus 3, okay? All right, so I'm going to have the domain being x is greater than or equal to negative 3, and I'm going to have the range being greater than or equal to 0, because if I look above, I see it. If I look below, I do not see it, okay? I believe that's that page, okay? Continue with that same process. We'll look and see where I'm doing on time. Doing pretty good. All right, same deal. All right, don't worry about these for right now. All right, same concept. I'm going to take the square root here.
Can I have a custodian come to the main office? I need a custodian to the main office.
Okay. On this one, I'm going to subtract 4. Okay. So what I got for an answer is square root of x minus 4. All right, so that's going to be on the outside. Okay. Once again, square root graph. All right. So the domain is going to be x is greater than or equal to. The range is going to be y is greater than or equal to. Oh, not 0. Just greater than or equal to. Okay. We're going to find those points, okay? Once again, how I would do that, I go back to exit. I'm going to delete this, all right? I'm going to type square root of x, all right? And then minus 4 because it's not inside, okay? And then I draw it, okay? It's down there. Now, what I would do here is g solve y-intercept because it crosses at the y-intercept. That's 0, negative 4, okay? So it's still going to be x is greater than or equal to 0, y is greater than or equal to negative 4. Okay, moving down to number 17, same concept, x, y minus 7. I'm going to square it to get rid of it. I'm going to add 7, okay? So I got x squared plus 7 equals y, all right? And that's going to be my inverse, all right? Once again, to graph that, that's going to be a quadratic, okay? And it's going to be at 0, 7. Once again, if you needed to graph that, okay, if you needed to graph that, you just go back into exit, delete, all right, x squared plus 7, draw, all right, g solve minimum, 0, 7, okay? Now if I do the domain, look to the right, I see it, look to the left, I see it, so my domain is going to be all real numbers. My range, I look above, I see it, I look below, I don't, so it's all above, so it's going to be y. Greater or equal to 7, y coordinate, okay? Moving down to 18, given the graph of the function, plot the inverse, okay? What you should do is look for grid points. So that grid point is negative 2, all right? Actually, negative 2, negative 2. Another grid point is negative 1, negative 2. Another grid point here is 2, 0. Now, to find the inverse, all you need to do is flip those. So that's now going to be 0, 2. Okay, that's going to be negative 2, negative 1, and that's still going to be negative 2, negative 2, so my graph goes like this. So all you got to do is plot those points, flip it around, okay? On this one, that's 1, 3, okay? I'm going to use this one here. That's 2, 2. All right, that's going to be easy for me. That's going to be negative 2, 0. All right, so when I go to graph these, all right, 3 over 1 up, okay? 2 over 2 up is still there. 0 over negative 2 down, okay? All right, so it's going to go something like this. Okay? Actually, hold on one second. Let me replicate that. All right. I might have to get another point in here. That's 3 over 1 up, 2 over. I might need to label these. Let's call that A, B, and C. So that's my new A. All right, my new B is right here. It's gonna be here. All right. So I'm gonna go this way, this way, this way. Okay. All right, close enough. As long as you label the points. All right. Number 20. All right. Given the graph, find its inverse. So what you can do to find the graph, you can label x and y. I'm going to take 0 and 1. If I put 0 in, I get negative 1. If I put 1 in there, I get 2/3 minus 1, which would be negative 0.3. Okay, so 0 over negative 1. All right, 1 negative 0.3. Okay, all right, so if I graph that, that's my first line. Okay, to get the inverse, I flip these points around. So now I'm going to graph this. So negative 1, 0, negative 0.3, 1. Okay, now 2 ways to get it. We can do the same. You can do this where you set this up this way. All right, 2/3 y. All right, you add 1. That's x plus 1 equals 2/3 y. You divide all the parts by 2/3. Now this can get tricky from a numerical standpoint. Exit. Let me go menu. All right. You can do 1 divided by 2/3. Make sure you use parentheses. All right, I get 3/2. Okay. The next one is going to be also 1 divided by 2/3. It's going to be 3/2. So this inverse, okay, is y equals 3/2 x plus 3/2. Okay. You can do it that way. The other way is you've got these 2 points. Okay. If I go into menu, stat, okay, and put in my points of negative 1, 0. Now we're putting in the points of the inverse. So of that blue line, all right, negative 1 divided by 3, okay, whoops, let me clear that out, or delete that. I'm frozen here. All right, give me a second, the board is resetting. Okay, 1 second, hopefully, yep, there we go. All right, negative 1/3. Oh, whoops, that's not what I want. Sorry about that for those of you watching. All right, negative 1/3, comma 1. Okay, I believe that's what I got. Then I go to calc, reg, x. You're going to have to hit ax plus b, but it's the same deal, 1.5, which that's what that is. Okay, so I believe that is the final bit of the practice test. Okay, once again, go over that, rewind it if you need to, go over your quizzes, and you should be fine for the test.